everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. Today we're going to make the stuffed pepper skillet. So I've already showed you the ingredients, but I'll go over them quickly here. We have 18 ounces of ground lean beef. We have our green peppers. We have 2 to 3 green peppers. We have 3 cups of rice cauliflower. We're going to have 2 cups of shredded jack cheese. We have 2 cans of diced tomatoes. We have a little bit of green onion, Worcestershire sauce, salt, and pepper. So I'm gonna go ahead and get things rinsed and also talk to you about a cool trick with the hamburger here. I'll just go ahead and talk about that now. As you can see, it's frozen into a slab inside a Ziploc baggie, a gallon Ziploc baggie. And you might be thinking to yourself, why did he do this? So here's the trick. With the Ziploc baggie, I put a pound. I already measured it out. I used my scale that I used to measure out my lean and green. I put it 1 pound of lean beef in here and smashed it down thin. It requires hardly any defrosting time. You know how horrible and hard it is, like you get the big clump of hamburger and you put it in the freezer, and then it takes what seems to be forever to thaw. This will thaw out in maybe 5 minutes total. In the sink, I'm gonna throw some water on it and let it go. So I'm gonna wash some things, get this thawing, and I'll be right back. So while we're waiting on the beef to defrost, I'm gonna chop up some things. Grate some things. So these are just the onion. That it calls for. Okay. So I'm just gonna put that into this bowl. And then okay, a little bit of that in there. Now, as you all also know, I have that dirty bag for vegetable cuttings and that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use that here in just a moment for these pieces and parts that you see here. So as I've talked to you before, I have a chef friend named Tracy, and she talked to me about vegetable dirty bag, which basically is a bag you keep in your freezer for your leftover vegetable parts. Because what you can do is use that to make broth for soups. Another cool thing that I just learned is how to cut a pepper easier. You know how you got the top? You know, it's got this core and the seeds. So if you do it that way, just like what I did, I just cut it down the pieces and parts and just peel. Here's what happens. You get this that comes out, and you just have a little bit of the ribs to deal with. So we do that again. Okay, so this is a 4 one. Did you know that there are 3 and 4 nibs, and that tells you whether there's a male or female pepper? I didn't know that. I can't remember which one's which, but we can find out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna slice down this way till it kind of stops. And I'm gonna slice down this way till it kind of stops. And then pull, 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 and pull. And you're left with a relatively clean pepper. You just have to pull out some of the ribs, cut the ribs on it. Sometimes there's a little bit of seed. But look how, I mean, it's just that easy. I'll do it again. So you cut down that way, and then you just follow the natural indentation of the pepper. Pull. So I must do that in the wrong spot. Pull, pull, pull. Kaboom. It's that easy. And it's that wonderful. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my soup bag. Yeah, I might keep that out. So I'm going to put some peppers in it because I don't think I need all those peppers. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slice off the bottom here and a little bit of that. I'll throw that in there. Let me get a glass for my peppers. Just let me set that over there so it's out of the way. One of the things that my friend Tracy taught me was some knife skills in regards, well, she did knife skills, so you can thank her for me not looking like I'm a crazy person with a knife. Because I got these wonderful knives from my friend Dom. He used to work for Cutco. So I got these great knives, and then I was like, I don't know how to use these properly. I was a mess. But I've learned to use somewhat like the tip of, and just the tip of the knife to give me wonderful little cuts like this. And then I can just go. And notice I do slow down when I get close to my fingers. And then look at that. I got these wonderful, wonderful, get that out of the way, pepper cuts. They look fabulous. That's wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to cut out these peppers. I'm going to do one more just to show you that technique again. Okay, set that there for a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice off some of this because I don't need that. Throw that in my bag. Okay, so once again, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to slice the pepper with just the tip and just kind of use little lines. And like I said, I get slower as I get to my fingers. So then I have little strips like this. And then I just kind of line them up. And notice this is the thing my friend Tracy taught me, was to do a rocking motion where you come down and at the item like this. And then look at those pieces of pretty pepper. Look at those peppers, look. So, okay folks, well, I'm not going to put you through the process of watching me cut a bunch of peppers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fix these peppers, and then we will be right back. Okay. So I have shredded up or cut up my peppers. I have the onions, and now I'm going to deal with the jack cheese. Now, some of you are going, oh dear God, does this bitch do his cheese like this every time? No, no. I buy it pre-shredded, but I wanted a little bit of kick, so I got some jalapeno pepper jack that will go in here. And no, I do not normally do this. This is not how my world works. Typically, I buy my cheese shredded. So don't think this is how it always is in this house. I am not always bougie like this. Oh, girls, look at that piece. But anyway, let me shred some cheese here and I'll be right back. So now we get to start the fun stuff. Okay, so I've grated 2 cups of cheese. Like I said, this is pepper jack. This was jalapeno pepper jack. I have 2 green peppers that I diced up that look fabulous. It's probably the best dicing I've ever done on a pepper, and I did it just for you. And we've got some green onion at the end. So what the recipe calls for is we're gonna brown the green beef. If your beef is green, don't eat it. Okay, that's my tip for today. If the beef is green, don't eat it. We're going to brown the ground beef. Then we're gonna add the onions and the peppers until tender. And then we're gonna add the drained tomatoes with the rice cauliflower, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So let me get, so remember I told you how in 5 minutes or so, look at this. This is all defrosted. There's not one spot that is solid in here. So I'm letting my skillet warm up now. I realized I forgot to get a spatula. So I got the spatula. It's not a golden spatula like SpongeBob has, but it's my spatula. Let's see. Yeah, that's warmed up. Okay, well that's still warm up. I'm gonna put these bowls back. That's something you all have probably noticed as I work in the kitchen. I don't let stuff sit out much on the counter. So now what I will do that this recipe is not calling for is I'm going to go ahead and season my ground beef as it's cooking. I do not want to wait till after. So I'm going to just plop that into my skillet. Flatten this out a little bit. And if you've watched any of my videos ever, you know I love ground pepper. I'll probably keep the pepper people in business. And I can't believe I just said that sentence without stumbling over keeping the pepper people in business. I am going to add a tiny bit of salt. And then I am adding in garlic powder. I am not using garlic salt, I'm using garlic powder. And I'm pretty liberal with that because none of us got fat eating too much garlic powder. Okay. So I'm gonna let this start to brown up. And in the meantime, I'm going to drain the tomatoes because it does say that we need to drain these tomatoes. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll return to continue on with the recipe, okay? The beef is browning up. And in just a bit, I will add in the other items so that we can get moving on this. So, just to recap, as I'm sitting here. So, by the way, this is 1 lean, 3 greens, and 2 condiments. So we've got our beef, we've got peppers, we're gonna have rice cauliflower here in just a moment. We have diced tomatoes, we have green onion chopped, we're gonna have Worcestershire sauce with some salt and pepper. So it is going to be a moment where I share a little secret. So, you know, I just shredded cheese, for goodness sakes. Oh, but I do not buy cauliflower and rice it. I get these handy dandy little packs in a box from Costco, and you microwave them for 60 seconds and you have rice. So I'm going to go ahead and do that while the beef is cooking. So if you're a busy mom or dad and you're like, I've got to make something quick and easy, honestly, the most prep time you have here, if you didn't shred your own cheese, and by God, why aren't you not? If you didn't shred your own cheese, the longest time constraint that you would have would be the peppers, chopping up peppers. But heck, you can even go now to like places like Publix. If you're in a hurry, get the beef, get the cans of tomato. They have stuff now that is basically cut up peppers and onions in a container. You can just buy them right off the shelf if you had to. Come home and get this together. I mean, it's not hard, people. And this certainly isn't rocket science. It's just following a freaking recipe and cooking. And not making excuses for not eating healthy. Because honestly, it's true. Let's be honest. It's easy to not eat healthy. You know, go to the McDonald's drive-thru, buy your Big Mac with your French fries and your Diet Coke. And, you know, scarf it down. And then, you know, 20 minutes later, feel like absolute hammered dog shit. And wonder why your sugars are out of whack. And you don't feel good. And you can't lose any weight because you're drinking a Diet Coke. At least I'm not eating all that sugar, drink all that sugar from the regular Coke. Go drink a regular Coke, it's healthier for you. That Diet Coke has shit in it. It has crap in it that just makes you want to drink more Diet Coke. How do you think the diet people keep in business like that? They put additives in that drink to make you crave more food. It makes you hungry. It doesn't not keep you hungry. You think you're doing the right thing by drinking Diet Coke. You're putting a bunch of crap in your system that messes with your chemicals, and you just end up wanting more food. You can keep the Diet Coke people in business. Now granted, I'm not just attacking Diet Coke, I'm also attacking Diet Pepsi or any other diet crap that's out there in regards to the drinks. FYI. So I'm just gonna tell you, go drink some water. That's the best thing for your system. I drink 100 ounces of water a day. Some days I go a little less, 84. I never go over 100. Maybe once I went over like around 120, and that was too much water. You can get too much water, which I know the non-drinking water people are like, yay, you can drink too much water. So the beef is browning up nicely. I'm gonna let this brown for just a little while longer, and then we'll start adding in the onions and everything else to the mix, okay? So in between that little transition there, I took the ground beef over to my sink, and I have a strainer over there, and I actually put it through the strainer to get rid of any excess grease and oil. I do that with no matter what grade of beef I use or hamburger I use. I always drain off the excess grease and oil. I just don't want it. Okay, so now excuse me, sorry. I'm going to add in the onions and the peppers. And go to the onion. And I'll put that in my pepper. Okay. And now I'm going to cook this until the peppers are tender. So I'm going to mix this up. It's so pretty. Look at this. Doesn't that look nice? So I'm gonna let this cook a little bit here. So I just to get you up to date, I browned the beef, the ground beef. I drained off the excess oils and everything. And I just put in onion and pepper. And I'm letting that cook up until the peppers are tender. The next step is actually going to be to add in the tomatoes and the Worcestershire sauce. Now the Worcestershire sauce, we're going to do 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire. And then we're going to add in that. And yes, turn up the heat. Mix it. Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm reading everything correctly. Making sure I'm on the right track. I am right now just letting the peppers tender up. So the next step will be to add in these two. We'll add in the tomatoes and the Worcestershire, and then mix that together. And then I'm going to add in the rice cauliflower, let that mix up, and then I'm going to remove it from the heat and add the cheese in and mix it in. Then it'll be ready to go. So, I wish I had some wonderful story to tell you about peppers, but I don't. I can tell you a wonderful story about a guy back in 2020 who weighed 203.8 pounds and started this crazy diet, because that's what I thought of it back then, as a diet. I thought I was starting something that was going to fail me, because I had tried other things before, so I just knew this wasn't going to work. I knew. But really, it wasn't the programs that I tried weren't working, it was me not working the way I should. But anyway, so I started this new diet, and within the week, things were getting crazy, and it was like working, and I was excited, but then at the same time, I was like, well, this is what happens with the other ones. It goes really well for a while, then it stops. Well, it goes really well for a while and stops because I go really well for a while and stop. So, I stuck to it and ended up beginning to coach. I'm a coach, for those of you who maybe don't know. I coach the program. I have been coaching since 2020. I was my going into my third week when I started coaching. Life happens and life happened, and so I needed to do something. So I started coaching about week 3, and I've been coaching ever since. I did reach my goal weight 3 months after I started program. I dropped 40 pounds in 3 months. My life has not been the same since. I need to disclaim that most people you lose between 10 to 12 pounds a month on the 5-in-1 program. I just never thought I'd get here and stay here and enjoy being here. There's stuff, I don't miss things. There's certain things, some people are like, oh, I miss this. I don't miss it. Okay, so anyway, I need to shut up. So now I'm going to add in the tomatoes. So it's 2 cans, not a toucan. We're not adding an exotic bird into our mix here. We're adding 2 cans of tomatoes, and we're going to add 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. Okay. Set that down. Okay. Another way, so put it on me. Okay. Oh, it's looking so pretty. Look at that. Doesn't that look great? So let me get this stuff mixed together here, and we'll move on to the next step here in just a moment. So I've mixed in the tomatoes, and they are loving being in the pan with the peppers and the beef and the onion. God, I wish you could smell that. It smells so good. It smells so good. Okay, so we've got the Worcestershire sauce in there. I've got the tomatoes. I've got the peppers. I've got the onions. I got the beef. Now it's time to throw up in here the cauliflower rice. So throw the cauliflower rice in. Here's 1. And here's 2. The recipe does call for 3 cups. I have learned that that's about 2 of these. And now I'm going to mix in the cauliflower rice into the mix. So now I've got to incorporate it into all the goop. For those of you who are vegetarian, I could see this being really good if you get some either sausage crumbles or if you do just a tofu crumbled. This would be wonderfully tasty. I think this would be a wonderful meal. And then you could use some plant-based cheese as well instead of the pepper jack. Lord, no one said I was the professional. I am just a boy who lives in High Point, North Carolina, who likes to do cooking videos for y'all. So, Lord help us. Okay, so now I have incorporated in the cauliflower rice, the beef, everything is all here. Now it says to remove from the heat. So that's what this bitch gonna do. So I'm gonna remove it from the heat. And this is when it says to put in my 2 cups of cheese that I grated myself. I toiled over the hot stove for forever. So now I'm just gonna mix in this cheese into, oh, there's that sound. I'm trying to stay away from this hot burner. That's all I need to do is just burn myself in one of my videos. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Okay. Ooh, this looks wonderfully cheesy. So once again, 18 ounces of ground beef, 2 to 3 green peppers, 2 cups of shredded cheese, 3 cups of rice cauliflower, 2 cans of diced tomatoes, Worcestershire sauce, salt and pepper, and a little bit of green onion. So now it looks like this, and I'm going to put some in a bowl, and we're going to do a taste test for you. So let me get myself a bowl and get ready to serve myself some good food. Okay, so the cool part about this particular meal is it is a 5-serving meal. So this would be great for a small family. I mean, it would be wonderful. Now, you notice I said 5 servings. Well, here's my skillet, right? And oftentimes I get well, how do I know I've got the right amount of servings if it's 5 and it's all mixed up? Look at your container and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's how much I get. This much. And if you have to draw lines, draw yourself some lines. It's not hard. Don't make it any more difficult than it needs to be. Trust me. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, just a tiny bit more. Okay, see, I just took out my 5th of a serving. So this, once again, it's the stuffed pepper skillet, and I'm gonna do a test right now. That's good. That's really good. Well, I'm gonna finish and go ahead and eat my dinner. So, listen, go out there, be kind to yourself today, be kind to others, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.